Good morning, this is Martin here. I hope you can hear me. We'd like to do a sound check test. Just making sure my sound is coming in okay with you guys. Okay. Do let me know and type if the audio is okay. And then we shall start. I do apologize for the earlier hiccup that we have. And we want to do a bit of sound check test now. So let me just make sure everything is okay first. And before we start, just want to do a sound check. And make sure you can get this on my Facebook here. Okay, and okay, it seems that this morning I'm trying to get it cross page. I could not able to get so I'll probably have to share to the page. Okay, hopefully you're able to see it right now on the sharing. Hi, morning Irene. Okay, so if the sound is okay, then we can start right now. Okay, just want to make sure everything is fine. Okay, good, thanks a lot. Okay, a very good morning to you all, and how are you feeling over the long weekend? I hope you had a good weekend like I do. And of course, last Friday you all heard about the emergency that really panicked a lot of people, and many people were really talking about the emergency that never really have to be declared, and it was first time that it was declared by our Prime Minister, and that raised a lot of concern. What's going to happen to this morning. No doubt this morning we did not see the big sell-off that all of us were kind of worried, but it did felt. Let me just check. I will come to it and check with you the market right now. So let's move on to our story that we have for you, okay? And no other than what we see so far. Now, the story that we have this morning, right, is no other than the emergency that we have. But a little bit of good news before we talk about the emergency that we have in the economy is the sharing of your referral code on SmartRobie, that you will get double credit. So one more day left on the 26th and 27th. Do share this and you get 400 credit rather than the 200 credit, double the credit for the more people of sharing. So do take note of this special offer here. All right. Now, last Friday, we have the unfortunate news. There was no emergency that the king decided to meet yesterday with the so-called ruler of sultans that we have in Malaysia, and they decided not to switch to emergency, because if they switch to emergency, then it will be a National Security Council. Everything can be approved, and it's more like a soft form of dictatorship. So there's no need also for Muhyiddin to resign, having said that he wanted to pass on and was blown away by the ruler, which is that a great move. But now going forward, definitely is the uncertainty waving ahead if the Prime Minister able to manage a declining economy and fighting COVID-19. Now, you have seen this before from the earlier talk that I have on the local politician, the tumbling of the House of Cards. If you have not watched it, go over to YouTube and follow that too. So that is the situation that we have, and it's not in really good health in here. So again, the fighting of the COVID-19 remain to be seen, and that's why the market right now, let me just show you in here, where is our market doing on the KLCI today? Our market is down 11 points, and we have broke through the 1490. Remember earlier on I said before, it is important that a market stay above the 1500 and the 1495. We have broken through, so that means the Pentagon Guider will turn bearish from now onwards, because there is a lot of uncertainty going forward. How is the budget 2021 is going to be passed? What is going to be happening to all those economic projects, the big ticket project like the infrastructure project? How are they going to pass? This is very similar what we see in US, where between the Republican and the Democrat not able to pass the economic stimulus because of the constant fighting that they had between the two parties. We are facing that right now. So in the same line, the news that we have on Saturday is the emergency. What we've seen that the budget 21 may not get approved, and so that's what it's no surprise. But ladies and gentlemen, those of you listening, in my opinion, our economy is still strong. No doubt we have the COVID-19. Just like in US, we will get out of it. Whatever you hear right now, the news may be bad, but typically if you look back 6 months from right now, you will see this is like a washout. Okay, a washout where the market can go higher. Of course, not all stock can go higher. It is sector specific, which many of you have been following me. I've always been talking about sector, and those sectors are independent of what we see in Malaysia, because those are export based, and like it or not, while the rest of the other sectors are really falling like domestic, right? But you can see in those export sectors like rubber sectors and the technologies has done pretty well. So this, in my case, is a temporary blip. The market can go lower. We may go to 1470. Okay, let me just bring out the chart in here. We can look at it right now. Okay, this is the chart. Let me switch to a different chart inside here. So right now you can see the support is 1480. We have broke through this 1480. It does look rosy right now. We have a two support in there, breakdown. And remember, those of you who came to some of my talk, I always talk about the shakeout. This could be the shakeout we are talking about, right? In October, then we might see a rally going forward, right? Remember, any time for the market to go higher, you need to have a shakeout. All right, so keep in mind for that. Be positive. Okay, now if you have shares that you need to cut loss, if it is a short term, do cut loss, because there are no fundamentals to those stocks, and if they decided not to run, you need to cut. All right, that is my message to you in here. So I hope that that will give you some sort of footing going forward right now. Now let's move on to our next story. Okay, now this next story is about XOX. Okay, so like you know, XOX has been really making a big deal in terms of corporate, but they are not making money inside. So this news article came out also last Saturday. It talks about they have emerged as a substantial holder in Magpie, a lot of all these corporate dealings in here. And to me, this is a footprint of a lot of smart money in here. Let me just show you what I mean. You can see a very good example how smart money came in and got everybody hooked on at 30 cents up here. You can see, right? That's a 30 cent, and then sell all the way down. I think if you bought it at 30 cents, you will have lost more than 50% of your investment. Having said that, which is not a good thing. So that's why it's important. If you can see, if it's a red pentagon and it breaks below the ATR stop loss, and this is what I mean by the ATR stop loss here, this is the time you need to go. You really need to go. Okay, else there is no chance for you to make money going forward, because all your funds and your money are tied here. So we always try to understand why it's important. If you trade this kind of penny stocks, you need to exit out. But I'm going to show you a few more things that you could do to help to prevent you out from that, is to choose those stocks that has a bit of fundamental by the FA ratings if you're listening for the first time. All right, let's move on to our next story. So our next story is on the big telco in here. Maxis net profit climbed only 2% in the third quarter. So if you look at Maxis, not exciting, which I actually talked about earlier on. Despite what they have plenty of money. Cash flows remain at 745 million, which is quite huge. And no one really talk about Maxis like what they talk about the rubber glove. The net profit fell to 924 million from 964. Just a small percentage, but given the size of it, they are doing pretty well. But then again, why couldn't these shares go any higher? If you look here, from the chart wise, it will around $5 in here. It's because no doubt people talk about 5G in here, but what's more important is the growing of the earnings per share. This kind of big blue chip company is deemed as being what we call stable, and there is not a lot of super growth out from that from in here, and they have regained certain size like Nestle in here. But if there is another competitor coming in, they will take market share, and the market will feel a bit lower in here. Let's look at the stock fundamental we have seen so far for Maxis. It's definitely a good dividend play for those of you who like it, and the return on equity is 20%. And remember, we talk about sector average. The higher the sector will be better in here. 33% will be much better in here. So right now it's still considered as overvalued because of the higher PE that we've seen so much. Again, is this a good stock to buy? It all depends on your investment horizon. Something good for the longer term if you want to with Maxis, but a little bit growth from here may be difficult too. All right, keep in mind. All right, let's move on to our next story. So our next story will focus on the US market in here. Now this week we have a lot of big names coming out. Apple, Amazon, Boeing, Visa, Pfizer, and some of those stocks inside here. Now remember, this week even Tesla came out with the better earnings. It was a big sell-off. So as such, be ready for sell-off on good news on US earnings season. That's usually the case, on bearing in mind on the backdrop of what we see in the presidential debate, which is less than 2 weeks only, on the 3rd of November. A lot of uncertainty. That is why we see this possible of market sell-off in here. But after the November 3rd, I will tell you what is likely to happen on my talk this coming Wednesday. So make sure you catch me. More on that later. So starting 9th of November, we are changing the format of our breakfast show to a new format, Trading with SmartRobie. Pretty much what you see right now, where we want engagement. That's right, we want you to give us your stocks, and perhaps we'll use SmartRobie to analyze, and for me to able to give you some sort of pointer going forward with the stock trade idea that you have, and also get a bit more education from our segment in here. It's a thing that we like to do. So those of you who want me to look at some stock, do type it in there. We will do it now. If I see it, your stock, and when we go to the next slide, we will analyze those stock too. All right. So right now, the previous news that I'd seen, using news as analysis in here, I saw something was very good early on when I was using the KLCI news, and this is something we talk about for beginners. This is something good for you to use using news. Okay, so you type on the KLCI news. Let me just show you the news that I have early on. I'm going to scroll down looking back at the history. Now I think I went past this. I'll try it again on the KLCI news here. All right, you have Kajaya very positive, but Pentagon is red. Now what we are looking for is news that is negative. That's right, news that is negative, but Pentagon is green. Okay, news that is negative but Pentagon that is green, and that's the one we are looking at. But right now we don't have one. I have one, but I saw it just now. Let me just check it again in here. Okay, Inix, Javan, we'll look at the Inix for you, and let me look at this one here. The KLCI positive news, Pentagon, BJ Auto. Okay, it's B Auto. Let's look at B Auto, shall we? Okay, so B Auto is the news that came out, B Auto. And we want to look at the stock chart. All right, so you can see B Auto really fell. Wow, this one really fell a lot, $1.35 to $1.17. And as such, even at this point, you can see stock fundamental for B Auto, right, is 1. Okay, previously it was doing much better. I think I saw it as being intrinsic value. I think the PE has gone up. Right now the PE has dropped back to 22 times. which is still expensive despite what it is. So bottom line is usually when we see stocks like this, we want to stay away first. Okay, no way you want to be buying this. If you look at this here, the market broke through this ATR stop loss around 135. Okay, every time when you broke through this 135 stop loss, that is what we call the danger point. Okay, and the market continue. There is no end to it. It does look like the market may move sideways in here. It's still not a time to buy yet for B Auto. Having said that, okay, so perhaps we can look at another news. Okay, some of you have given me Serbadk Dynamics, Hextar, good, QES. I will look at those, maybe some of your stocks when we come to it. Okay, but let me just take care of the premium alert first, shall we? Or take care of the premium alert first, slides, and then we'll come back to it. Now, the premium alert that we have last week, Eforce and Inari, is also down right now, as you've seen, because of the market uncertainty. I don't know what's going to announce today at 5 o'clock. Right, because every 5 o'clock they're going to announce something. So morning will go up and then there is a sell-off. That's the situation is happening in that. But right now TDEX was the better one that came out, and we look at TDEX. Just want to show you the real-time chart now. Then I will come to some of your stock like QES and so forth. Yeah, TDEX is still up 2.9%, which is the only positive so far we've seen. Okay, and let me just bring it up again. Okay, TDEX, you can see you have a spring inside there. It's not too bad, TDEX. Having said that, but this, it can be quite a volatile stock. We are seeing some increase in a little bit of the volume, which is good. All right, so TDEX is the stock pick for today, and we'll come back on Wednesday to look at it. So far, the XOX.m hasn't made right. So what we're going to do now is look at some of the stocks that you guys have. Any idea of solution, we will look at it. So let's look at Inix. Okay, INIX. We'll look at the stock chart. Okay, Inix is not bad actually. This is one of the better stocks inside here, but again, because of what we've seen so far, and also you have a confirmed no demand, CND. Okay, confirmed no demand here. That's a D, just a crop in here. Usually when you see confirmed no demand, we might see weakness coming. No doubt this was on positive news before coming to the emergency was declared. Anytime when emergency now remember, some SmartRobie users, stock market don't like uncertainty. When you have certainty, we do not know what the policy is doing. So what usually is people take off the bid from the buy and sell. They're not willing to buy some more. So that's why the selling is coming more. So there'll be more seller than coming in the bidder. But that's why we sometimes call it a wash. When the news does not materialize, smart money would know all this is just another example of washing out. So let's look at Inix right now and look. I won't be surprised today is down 3%. Yeah, 2%, 2.3% in here. So that's what we are seeing in here. So having said that, the best defense right now, if stick to those fundamental stocks, okay? Inix, you can see this stock, I think, though, what do they do, okay? I think this is technology, if not mistaken, the way it shoots up. Yeah, 29.54. They do private establishment Inix. Ace market IT software. Oh, IT software. This one lagi suspectable lah. IT software. It's like a Kuspaki. It's like MYEG, SciComm. Very hard to say one this kind of thing. Okay, so that's why you notice earlier on Inix. You can see this distribution share up to 75%, and then it start to disrupt. Only this bar here right now in here may have an example, so be ready to cut loss if you need to. Okay, another one I saw just now was if I'm not, let me just scroll up here. After Inix is QES. QES. All right, I think the manufacturing one will be much better. Technology IT is slightly different in here. So if you look at QES again, look at the stock chart. Okay, QES in here, nice building up, but you have the uptrust, huge volume. A lot of people wanted to get out last Friday in here. Today is also another down day, as I said before. Okay, let me just get out to here, go to the live stock prices. Oh, up today. Oh, I'm surprised. Okay, let's look at the real-time chart, QES. Stay with it, all right? Now, one of the key things you need to know, very simple, right? If the chart started to break down and very close to the stop loss, the ATL stop, you want to exit. Like if the stocks that have continued to be on the blue, what we call the blue trend zone, stay with it as much as possible. And also SmartRobie has those okay, so there were no follow down inside here, but you do have that uptrend, so just be careful the next 2 or 3 days on what we call stepping down volume in here. Now the later SmartRobie shows that we do on November 9, I'll teach you guys about how to read the volume, the volume there, then you'll be more familiar with it. That would definitely help you a lot more, okay? So because I find that this kind of understanding the volume will see whether you want to hold or you want to go. That's one of the good things about the volume spread analysis. So right now I think QES is pretty good. Stay with it, all right? Chan here. Okay, we'll look at Charlotte for Hextar. I think you asked me before, right? Hextar in here. Hextar. Now, if Hextar is, first of all, let me just clarify whether Hextar it is REITs or not. If it's a REITs, okay, let me look at it doesn't even have a website. Oh, I don't think it's a REIT. The other one, Hextar, is a REIT. So this one is not a REITs. Okay, so let's look at the stock price. We look at the real-time chart. Okay, so it's up. For Charlotte, I only do one for you, okay? Because I want to go on to Richie Invest for Serbadk too, which I like it, to be frank with you, but the charts doesn't agree with me, unfortunately. Okay, the chart doesn't agree with me. So you look at Hextar Global Berhad, it had hit red pentagon. Okay, hit red pentagon, volumes is down, and check out the trading plan. Okay, so you have to be careful right now. Sell a little bit first, okay? Take some money off the table, exit first, and you have stop loss. Let me just get the stop loss under the exit strategy here, right? Which is 67 cents. That's a stop loss. So right now, let's look at the prices. Right now, Hextar is 71 cents. So it's still okay. All right, but when you break through the ATL stop loss, you want to be out. But that is already the first warning when you see red pentagon. Okay, now red pentagon. Let's look at the okay, again, look at the ATL stop loss. Okay, you can see the ATL stop loss is just right. Yeah, yesterday was the red pentagon. So you can see you got that 60 just at this support here. Okay, so if you switch to a real-time chart, you're able to see that. Okay, let me just get the real-time chart here. Hit that one, takes you to trading view. And you can see that's about 67 cents. That's right. So right now still safe. We got the two bar volumes coming down on low. We do not know going forward what are going to be happening to the market. If the market can recover, then that's a good thing too. Okay. Next one, I will look at Serbadk. Okay. Now, Serbadk, in my opinion, it is a longer term stock. It's just that you can see it's a rating of 7 out there. PE very low. A lot of bad news already been priced into Serbadk. Right? It's just that the chart, it's not nice at all. You know? You can see that is what I mean here. Okay, so that is why if you want to buy any stocks, you have to consider. Now, if you have this as a long term, if you break through the ATL stop loss, you need to focus whether you want to hold on to this or not, right? And whether it's worthwhile. Of course, one consideration is looking at the fundamentals, which I talked about. The dividend is 3%, so not too bad. So for you, a little bit hold on compared to the sector average of 1.42. So Serbadk is not going to go anywhere. It needs to form a base first. So the question go back to Richie. I suppose when you have Richie invest, so you're investing for the longer terms. I think this one is okay to hold a longer term, but you just need to bear through with the grunt inside here. So early on, you must have bought it. Okay, I would assume you bought it around when it was green pentagon, isn't it? About 180. So now it's about 150. You need to bear through this. Again, the oil and gas sector, it's coming down. This will have some bearings into it. Okay, so next one is Jaks. That will be the last one that I do. Jaks. Now Jaks, I always know this is a KYY counter. So every time if it's a KYY counter, or yeah, I usually try to stay away with it because nothing good come from this kind of stock, so-called been talked about and so much been discussed about. You really want to focus on stocks no one is talking about. I think there is adjustment of a stock split, isn't it? Yeah, stock split here, and that's what today is a stock split in here. Red Pentagon is already out in here. Again, there is not much of an edge. Seriously, if you ask me whether you want to hold or don't hold, there is no trend into this, right? You can see it's still pretty much a sideways market. Now remember, the sectors in it need to be very, very strong. There need to be what we call an underlying that pushes it. Like we talk about the technology. Remember, if you've been following me a fair bit, you will know what I'm doing. If you're just purely trading in and out, follow the trading band and just exit. Do I say this makes sense? Right? You need to have an underlying if you want to run the stocks. Usually have a profit target about 10 to 15%. If you hit it, chabot, look for next stocks. That's how you want to be trading in here. All right. Scientech is a good stock, okay? For that one, I wouldn't have time to look at. MI, I think the one to look at. Scientech, as I said before, early on in early June, $8. Now it's a bit high, so you need to wait for the kind of pullback that you have. Scientech is definitely not a stock that you wanted to trade because it's pretty pricey and you want to be investing, all right? Having said that, it's one of the stocks I actually also missed on Scientech. I would have bought. I hope that I bought it early on, but I did not. I saw it in June. I wanted to get it for my clients inside there, but just that I was waiting for breakout and then it started to run up because Scientech, the underlying is under packaging, which my colleague, my senior trainer Zac, did talk about it. I think last Friday in fact. So the remaining of I will take one more stock in here if those of you have to. MI, I think it's going to still be good. I'll take one more stock for SmartRobie before I sort of close the session in here, and I really want to help you guys out there to use it correctly. Right now the market is pretty looking very bad because I think the KLCI will turn, for the chart will turn red pentagon today, and once it turns, which means for the next 1 month we are seeing market going down. Usually that's always wise, so I'll let you know first. We are going down from here, okay? So if there's none, then I'm just going to move on, but usually we won't. Okay, let's move on to next time. I'll probably look back later, okay? So the trending stocks is something that I want to share with you here this morning. If you look back, you click on the trending stocks. So you can see right at this list, these are the stocks that have a lot of underlying. Liihen, I think, has done. Of course, Liihen right now will go through some under selling in here. But let me just switch on to, oh yeah, it's still up. Look at that, Liihen, right? And Liihen is one of the stocks I've talked about way back in 3 or 4 months ago. If you have followed that and continue to ride, I think that's good. It's one of the stocks that I talk about in my Wednesday night session in here. Strong uptrend in here. Okay, still continue to go up. You have NS also. Worthwhile to take a look at this, and if you want to trade this, I think this would be a better stock, and it's all very nicely trend. Okay, I know some of you may not like to buy things that is trending. You like to buy those stock that a lot of people talk about it. So it all depends. Most important, you need to see and learn new ideas. That's what SmartRobie is all about. The trade idea that there are some that is trending up, you can make money. All right, there are some they don't. Now remember, don't just buy a stock because people are talking about it. Look at the underlying, look at the trend. I think if you just close out all those people talking about it, understanding using our trade VSA sector analysis that we have on dashboard, you will do so much better. Liihen is one example, and in there is also here. Let's go back to this one I just want to show you. These are the some of them. Now you can see the underlying, right? If we have that technology, finance, we give it a miss. Plantation, we give miss. Industrial product, it all depends. See what the things that they do. Post Malaysia transportation, I don't know. KBJ, healthcare. COVID-19, we can take a look at it. YTL, I don't like utility. Transportation, maybe our e-commerce could be up. So those are the things you want to explore on a regular basis. Do look at it when the market start to move up, because when the stocks do trend up, that's the one that you want to have. Some trend who have just started recently may not trend because of the news that we see right now. But these are the easy one. Now there's another one is Globetronics. Those of you which is a proxy to Unisem. Okay, a proxy to Unisem is Globetronics. Hasn't run yet, and this is one of the stocks I have, and I'll just show you in here, right? You can see this one is about to break out. Pretty nice one here. It's just a matter of time before the market breaks, and you know, this you can see nice trend going up here. Hasn't break yet, so look at the trading plan for Globetronics, and if you look at Unisem, all right, they are all. And this is Unisem. Let me just bring out the stock chart in here. So one of the reasons why I want to do this is to give you some sort of idea. You can see this is a nice trend, right? You can look at it. All has all these the teaching that I always talk about, the stage 2 teaching in there. And those of you who are interested to learn about teaching and what we do, we are doing a course this coming weekend, 31st of October, for that one, which actually combines SmartRobie and also understanding volume spread. And guess what? You'll be coached and trained by our trainer and using all our tools for 1 year, and that's a good deal. Right? Those of you who are interested, there's a number there, 0102669761. Do contact us if you're interested. All right, let's move on to our next. So that's what I want to talk about. Just give you some idea using trending stocks going forward in there. All right. All right. So let's move on. Okay. Hope that that was beneficial to you. The Globetronics. And don't forget, this coming Wednesday night, we will have part 2 of the US election market outlook. Winning strategies in winning sectors, which is a continuation that we have on last Wednesday. We find that there are some things I want to share with you that will get you prepared for the coming 2 weeks going into after the election in November and December. There's a lot of opportunity in there. And for those of you who do join us, I'm going to share with you how to get zero commission trading the US market and how to open an account too. All right. Okay. So let's talk about the next section. And also don't forget, join us every Wednesday night for our stock review analysis, 9:30 with our senior trainers that very popular with all our members as well as the public, that he will look at it more in depth and usually dedicated looking at intraday chart, and our focus is on using some of the tools that we have in here. But right now, SmartRobie are able to find you a few. Just that today, not so good. That's about it. All right. So don't forget to join our free Telegram chat room for all our free stock market information that you will get. And if you are first time, do share this with your friend and find out more. And most important, during our live Facebook, ask question. All right. With that, I see you on Wednesday morning for our next breakfast show. And good day and manage well your risk. Bye bye.